Everyone, welcome to the show. I'm sure you guys have all heard by now. If you have not, I don't know what you've been doing for the last day, but I'm sure you've all heard about the death of Charlie Kirk. He was 31 years old. He was shot and killed yesterday at an event, at a kind of like a rally, political event at a Utah college. He was there speaking with a crowd of about 3,000 people, 3,000 students, more so. I don't know if they allowed just the general public in, but it was held on a college campus. And he was shot and killed right after being asked about transgender shooters. So someone in the crowd had asked Kirk, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters in the past 10 years? He answered, too many, which is bullshit. I mean, yes, it's too many. One is too many. But compared to white males under the age of 40 and how many of them have been mass shooters, it's not even a contest. And this is, one of the big debates going on right now. And Charlie Kirk was pushing a very hardline anti-LGBTQ message. That was just his thing. He was made some very vile comments about transgender people. More recently, he was talking about how women need to get married, that they're not happy when they're not married, which I think Oprah would probably disagree with that. But he was saying you have to get married, you have to have babies, you have to submit to your husband. That's who he was. He was I will say this, for being 31 years old, he had achieved a lot. What he had done, and for those who don't know who he is, he was the founder of Turning Point USA, kind of like an incubator for the right. He was, trying to churn out new Republican voters, new young Republicans and conservatives, very religious. I had a lot of issues with his organization, with Charlie Kirk himself, with his viewpoints. I will say this, there is absolutely no justification for murdering the man. He was a young husband. He was a father. He has two young children. They were there when he was shot. They witnessed this. If you have not seen the video, I recommend you do not search it out. It's very disturbing. I did see it. It was graphic. It was graphic. It was gruesome. Not something you want to see. Trust me. The police have said that the shot came from as much as 200 yards away, so about 500 feet. And it had to have been somebody who was skilled. They were up on a rooftop. There was one man who was taken into custody yesterday. His name is George Zim. He was determined to be innocent, so they let him go. However, for some reason, they charged him with obstruction of justice. We still don't know why, so we'll know more about that later, but he was not involved with the shooting. They also had a second suspect in custody. No details really were released on that person, other than the fact that they also released that person. As you would expect out of the Trump administration, this was a monumental screw up. You had Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, saying, "Oh, we've got him. We have the suspect in custody." The guy who shot Charlie Kirk turned out to be false, turned out not to be the person. So there is now a person of interest. They have released photos. I did not grab them before I came on today. I apologize, but there were two photos that were put out. And honestly, you can't see much. So other than people who maybe knew this person, know what his wardrobe is, I would imagine they're the only ones who are going to be able to identify this person because he had on a ball cap. He had on a dark shirt with some sort of emblem or logo on the front, but dark glasses, so you couldn't see much of his face. Appeared to have dark hair, but could be a dark photo, may not have dark hair, could have been wearing a wig. I don't know. I mean, there's so many variables. But anyway, MAGA, of course, is pointing the finger at everyone and anything. Someone blamed South Park online. This person said, oh, these people hate you. They want to see you dead. If they'll kill Charlie Kirk, they'll do it to all of us. Right-wing Twitter users are threatening us on the left. One person, I'm not going to put up their post, but they said Charlie Kirk is in heaven with the good Lord right now, and the rest of us are stuck in this country with all the left-wing lunatics. From this day forth, I know I'm not going to heaven, and I accept that because my further actions will not allow me to go. You left idiots out there specify these left-wing news outlets think you can push your lies and hate, but that's not always the case, assholes. The left Democrats push all this hate and lies. Stay tuned, assholes. So definitely sounds like a threat. I also, sorry, I need to turn on the volume for you guys, but I want to play a video for you. This is Nancy Mace, narcissistic Nancy Mace, walked out of the Capitol. This was before we knew that Charlie Kirk was deceased, but we did know that he had been shot. And here is what she had to say and who she was blaming.
Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. All the kids of every conservative in the country called panicking. Just because you speak your mind on an issue doesn't mean you get shot.
Then by that logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota? Isn't this on both sides?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm asking
We
a
don't
serious
know what
question.
condition Charlie Kirk is in right now. Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck, and you want to talk about Republicans right now? No.
No, I'm asking
no, not
you.
at all.
You said the Democrats have donated to, but I'm asking,
Democrats own this.
But isn't there a problem with political violence across the spectrum?
Yeah, we're talking about Charlie Kirk right now. That's the subject of this that we're talking about right now. Democrats own this 100%.
So, as you would expect, right? She just completely blows off a legitimate question and refuses to discuss the lawmaker, her husband, and their dog, who were all shot and killed just a few months ago. Also, the other lawmaker who was shot and his wife who was shot, and luckily they survived, but that was a Trump supporter. A Trump supporter murdered them in their own homes, murdered two of them and a dog, and shot and injured two others. They have had nothing to say about that. Nothing at all. Trump never put out a statement. Left, right-wingers, MAGA right-wingers across the spectrum did not say a word, never took ownership for it, never said a word of condolences for the families, nothing. Nothing. And yet, did any of us on the left, I mean, take a look at this, guys, the Libs of TikTok account. This woman who is a psycho, she puts out this is war. Really? Did any of us say this is war when a Trump supporter went and shot that family, or shot two families and murdered one? No. So this proves definitively, without a doubt, the right, the MAGA right, are the biggest lunatics in this country. They're the most violent. because they won't take responsibility when one of their people does something wrong. I mean, look at all the violence that we have had. We had Paul Pelosi attacked in their home. The guy was looking for Nancy Pelosi, who wanted to torture her and bludgeoned her husband, her 80-something-year-old husband, in the head and almost killed him. We had that Solomon Pena guy, another lunatic, who went and shot up the homes of, I think it was council members, because he claimed that his election was stolen, even though he lost by a landslide. And because they wouldn't overturn the election for him, he went and shot up their homes. We had Josh Shapiro's, the governor in where is he, in not Illinois, forget what state, Pennsylvania. His home lit on fire. We've had Democratic offices shot up all over the country. We've had Planned Parenthoods shot up all over the country, lit on fire. I know there's so many that I'm missing right now because we have had too many to count, far too many. I mean, how many election officials have been threatened by MAGA supporters? How many individual people, people who worked for Dominion or Smartmatic, threatened left and right by the right? So for Nancy Mace to come out and say that is wildly irresponsible and just typical for Nancy Mace. I mean, every time she opens her mouth, it's word vomit. But we don't know who this was. For all we know, and I don't know this for a fact, I'm just saying, for all we know, this could have been done by a right-wing accelerationist, right? I mean, and for those who don't know what that means, there are people, and they are all right-wingers, they're considered accelerationists because what they want to do, the reason why they go shoot up, let's say, electrical hubs, is because they want to create mass chaos, they want to create fear, and they want to start a war. They want to start a civil war, a race war or a civil war. They believe that, everything is horrific and we just got to burn it all down and we need to get there as fast as possible and get everybody fighting each other. So it could be somebody like that. Charlie Kirk had very strong opinions in favor of Israel. It could have been someone who was pissed off about what's going on in Gaza and the horrific events taking place, the genocide being committed by Netanyahu right now. Could have been somebody upset about that. Could have been someone upset about, Charlie Kirk's view on the Epstein case. He very, publicly announced that he was going to stop talking about the Epstein case after Donald Trump made a phone call to him and told him to tamp it down. So we don't know. Could have been somebody on the right, could have been somebody on the left. And if it is somebody on the left, I will tell you guys, unlike the right, I actually have an issue with this. I don't think anyone should just be gunned down. Right? And you can have political differences. Do I think that Charlie Kirk was a unique evil in the world, like a Hitler figure that needed to be taken out? No, I do not. He had abhorrent views, abhorrent opinions. Take this, for example. This was Charlie Kirk not so long ago talking about gun violence in America.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
I mean, the right, especially the MAGA right, really does not see an issue with gun violence. I don't know if this is going to change their minds. I don't know. Or I don't know. It might just radicalize them even more. But, yesterday we had another school shooting in Colorado. Multiple children injured horrifically and taken to the hospital. Thank God no one to my knowledge to this point has died, but this has just become normalized in our culture. Everybody's like, oh, another school shooting. I remember the first one. I remember how it was like a 5-alarm fire. Everybody was freaking out. Nothing like that had ever happened before Columbine. And now it's just like an epidemic, and we've just accepted it. We've given into it. And not a word about that from the right. They don't care that children are being slaughtered in school. But over Charlie Kirk, now they want revenge. Now they want the whole world to come down on the left, even before we knew who did this. And here's my fear. We have already seen what Donald Trump does. We've already seen how he has attacked his perceived enemies. You can expect him to use Charlie Kirk's death as an excuse, to use it as, the perfect excuse to come down even harder on the left. I don't know what that entails. I can only imagine, to surveil us, to, have drones out there maybe. I'm now concerned, what is going to happen next month? There was in just a little over a month, there's another big No Kings protest planned. Are they going to have to cancel that now and reschedule it? Until things kind of calm down, because I could see very easily a situation where we have now some lunatic MAGA person out there trying to avenge the death of Charlie Kirk and going and committing an act of violence. We already saw, the last time we had the No Kings protest, how many people, MAGA right-wing people, went out and committed acts of violence at that point. I've shared them all with you. And there was another one that happened in my neck of the woods. It happened here in Southern California that I still haven't gotten around to share the story with you guys. But there was a MAGA man and his girlfriend, and he purposely hit the gas, sped up, and hit a young woman taking part in the No Kings protest. He purposely drove into the crowd. This wasn't like, oh, I couldn't get through the traffic. No, he did this purposely, according to every eyewitness. He was arrested. He is, facing charges. So these are allegations at this point, quote unquote. But that's who the MAGA right is. But yet they want to point the finger and just attack the left as if we are the only ones that are out committing political acts of violence. Are you freaking kidding me? Do you guys remember what Donald Trump Jr. did after Paul Pelosi was attacked with a hammer? He posted a photo, a meme that someone else had created, I presume, of a hammer and a pair of white male men's underwear laying on a bed, and it said, "Here's my Paul Pelosi Halloween costume." He thought it was such a freaking joke. He thought it was so hilarious that an elderly man was attacked with a hammer. That is who the MAGA right is. But today they're pointing the finger at all of us, when we are actually condemning what happened to Charlie Kirk. When we are actually saying, there is no place for this. This was totally unacceptable. You don't take out your political differences with someone with a gun and a bullet. So, again, I hope they catch this person. I will share with you the facts of the case as they come out, and whatever comes out about this person, I will tell you the truth. As you guys know, I always do. But am I going to say, oh, Charlie Kirk was some great guy and I agree with him and, you know, we put him up on a pedestal now that he's been killed? No, no. I think that a lot of what he said was vile and heinous and hateful. And he put a target on a lot of people's backs with the things that he was saying. Now, if you say that on MSNBC, apparently you get fired, because they did fire someone for saying, you know, when you put out hateful rhetoric, hateful actions ensue, or not in those exact words, but yeah, I mean, this is why so many people have turned against and turned off MSNBC, because you're not allowed to say the truth on that network. But anyway, but again, this was a young husband and father, and I have nothing but empathy for his children and for his wife. You know, especially the children. They don't deserve to grow up without their father. And you can imagine they're going to go to bed crying at night, wondering where their daddy is. And that is just a sad, sad state of affairs in America. Anyway, guys, I should also mention, if you haven't seen it, you should go watch the statement that Donald Trump made. He made an Oval Office address to the nation about Charlie Kirk's murder, and it went as you would expect, with him attacking the left, calling us lunatic leftists, total divider in chief. Nothing about that man screams president. Nothing about him is normal or legitimate, or, I mean, he is just a chaos agent. And at a time when he could make a difference and calm things down and say, look, we don't know who did this. Let's take a breath. Let's all take, you know, some time to calm down, see each other as human beings. For the love of God, it is 9/11. It is September 11th today. And you have the President of the United States trying to drive a wedge between us again. I am old enough to remember what it was like after 9/11. We all came together. We all had our flags mounted on our windows, flying out the window. We were all Americans. We all were standing against a common enemy. And now today, 24 years later, we are so divided, so hateful towards each other, literally killing each other. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm sad for our country. And, you know, unfortunately, this hateful man won the presidency again. And he's just tearing us up even more. And and MAGA would say, well, you guys are doing it. You're calling us hateful and you're calling Trump Hitler and blah, blah. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. The statement that he put out today is exactly why I loathe him. Because he doesn't make anything better. He makes everything worse. So anyway, yes, I did tear up a little bit, guys, but talking about 9/11, I also am still dealing with an eye that needs to be fixed. Luckily, I am going in next Friday. They're going to put Drano in my tear duct or something. I don't know. And to leave you with a little bit of levity, I will leave you with this. Donald Trump Jr., he was very close with Charlie Kirk. He issued a statement saying that Charlie Kirk was like a younger brother to him. My first thought was, unlike Eric. Unlike how he feels about Eric, Charlie Kirk was like a brother to him. Just going to leave you with that little chuckle. for the day. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please be kind to each other out there. I will try to do the same. I don't always walk the walk, so I'm cognizant of my part in it as well. I need to do better as well as an American, as a citizen of this country. It is tough. It is really tough when you see the hate coming from the other side. Anyway, like I said, keep an eye out, because I guarantee Trump is going to use this to his own benefit. He's going to use this as an excuse, to leverage the government and to come after all of us. So be aware. All right. Thank you all again so much. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.